This module is a part of the training series for the POWER program, Positive Outcomes with Emotion Regulation. This module focuses on the first group meeting, which will introduce the students to the purpose of the group and engage in motivational interviewing exercises to help students consider their goals for the group. Please take a few moments to review this disclaimer about the training module. The goal of the first group meeting of the POWER program is to describe the purpose of the program, have the students discuss and develop group rules and norms, and begin normalizing the experiences of stress and negative emotions. Students will close out the group meeting by beginning to consider their reasons and motivations for participating in the group. These are the materials you will need for the first group meeting. For each student, you will need to have note cards, blank student books, writing utensils, the challenge forms for week 1, and any materials you might plan to use for names. During the group meeting, you will also need to have the agenda displayed, the blank group expectations poster, some type of audio and video capacity, and depending on your choice of group cohesion activity, either a ball of yarn or multicolored candy. In Group Meeting 1, the overall goal is to introduce the students to each other as well as review the purpose of the group. During this first group meeting, there are several activities designed to help the students to get to know each other and build group cohesion, as well as agree on group norms. Before closing the group, you will invite the students to explore their motivations for attending and working towards change. As the students arrive, you should consider different ways to have the students share their names with each other, such as table tents or name tags. Distribute blank student books and 1 note card per student as the students enter the room. Then, direct the students to use their note card to write down 2 facts about themselves that are true, and 1 that is a lie or false. Since students may enter at different times for the beginning of this group meeting, you may need to plan for students who need additional time when others have finished their note cards. When the students have completed their note cards, you should collect them all and shuffle. Then, you will read each one and give the students an opportunity to guess which student wrote the statements. Use this as an opportunity to help the students make connections with each other and get to know one another. You should plan to participate in this activity too. Once the opening activity has concluded, the group moves into reviewing group expectations. For this first meeting, this activity will take considerably longer than in subsequent meetings since the students will be establishing the group rules and norms they want to follow. During this discussion, be sure to provide the students with information about confidentiality and your role in keeping that confidentiality, including specific situations where it may not be possible to keep confidentiality. Finally, this section closes out with the implementer's choice of a group cohesion activity. 2 examples are provided in the manual, but a brief group cohesion activity may be substituted if needed. This section of the group meeting introduces the idea of motivation and goals for students. The video listed in your implementer's manual provides a brief and relatable message for the students to discuss afterwards. The premise of the video is managing stress and difficult emotions in positive ways. The primary concept of the video is life design, which is basically a message to the students that they can choose how they manage situations and what they want their life to look like. Alternatively, if no technology is available, there is a sample script in the implementer's manual that can be used instead that covers the same concepts. For guided practice, the intention is to guide students through a discussion of the video or script and their thoughts on the topic. For the independent practice portion of this group meeting, students will be asked to consider a series of questions. The first is if they had a magic wand, what would they change about their life? The subsequent questions depend on the student's answers to the magic wand question and is designed to get them to consider where they are on the path to achieving that identified goal and what might be different if they achieved it. Encourage the students to think about things that are realistically achievable, avoiding things like, I wish I could read minds, and instead framing it into something like, I wish I understood my emotions better. To close out the first meeting, you will give the students their first weekly challenge. The challenge for the first week is very simple and intended to function as an extension of the personal reflection. Ask the students to bring a photo of anything of their choice, like a pet or a family member, or their favorite food or favorite memory. If they are unable to bring the photo in any format of their choice, then they can simply verbally share something instead. The goal of this module is to help you better understand the materials needed and outline for implementation of Group Meeting 1. The implementation manual provides all the detail the implementer will need in order to run the group meeting successfully, as well as answer any additional questions there may be after viewing this module. This resource was developed by the Devereaux Center for Effective Schools and has been made available to you through the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration and the Northeast and Caribbean Mental Health Technology Transfer Center.